Good afternoon, everybody. We're back for the afternoon session. We have our next speaker, who is Ingrid.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Ingrid Vasiliu. I'm currently serving as the Chief Ethics and Innovation Officer for GBA. I will have a brief presentation, and then I'll also share some of the opportunities we have for funding for our members during the second part of my presentation. And hopefully at the end also, if there are questions, I'm happy to answer. My presentation today would like to highlight a few ways how blockchain can be a pathway to equal opportunity. We'll also share, of course, some of the challenges we all encounter in our quest to make blockchain technologies available across the world, opportunities we have. And then at the end, I will share some of my thoughts about future directions and where we can really make a global impact through blockchain solutions. So what is the global impact? We all know, but just a little reminder, the market size is expected to be at 57 billion and to grow at a KGR of 69.4 over the next few years, which is remarkable. And blockchain solutions are expected to boost the global economy by 1.76 trillion as per experts that have published recent reports. We all know the recent changes and movements in the industry regarding central bank digital currencies, blockchain as a service, as well as a push towards global technology governance. What are some of the trends? In general, we definitely have noticed an increased pattern of investing in blockchain-powered solutions. There's also increased trend towards converging technologies. Almost 2/3 of the startups are using 2 or 3 converging technologies these days. As you know, I care very much about ethics, so I'm glad to see that there are more and more publications and more awareness about the importance of having proactive ethics programs and a robust governance program when we develop any emerging technology, not just blockchain. And then, of course, as we mentioned, we hope that the investments will also be accompanied by a purpose, and that we all try to keep in mind that hopefully we'll deploy blockchain for good. So how can blockchain be as a catalyst? Real quick, you all know this, it's just a summary. According to most publications, smart contracts, digital identity solutions, mobile payments, and security features are at the top of the list. When we talk about global technology governance, of course, reducing cybersecurity attacks, increasing interoperability, increasing portability, and reduction of large-scale waste and fraud are top of mind for many leaders. When we talk about value drivers, again, we can have a much longer list, but some of the top listed features are identity management, authentication services, marketplace creation, and of course, development of new products and services, which is at an exponential stage right now. Human capital, thorough feasibility analysis, and astute implementation tactics are universally recognized as drivers of success. And why do we think that blockchain is a gateway to equal opportunity? When we look at the key factors, definitely, again, just a few, we can have a whole workshop just on that topic, but a few that I wanted to highlight today: distributed operations, increased transparency and efficiency, distributed decision-making, decentralized control, the token-based representation of tangible and intangible assets, and of course, a shifting of competitive focus. What are some of the relevant applications when we think of blockchain as a social technology, which has been featured in several publications over the last few years? Loan verification is often mentioned. Human resources also come up quite high on the list of frequency in journals published, as well as acceptance in schools, voting, and fair labor. I did a research over the last 4 years of the top publications in the world, academic and non-academic, and it's interesting to see that regardless of the sources, there are a few elements that come always in top of mind. Impact, of course, on society that blockchain can have, e-government importance, self-sovereignty, social transformation, democratizing entrepreneurship, and digital economy are definitely the top publications globally. And then I wanted to also highlight some of the challenges we encounter in our quest. As all of you know, trust, lack of digital literacy, and always opportunities for improving fluency, the challenges with interoperability, portability, not to mention the huge hurdles from a regulatory compliance and legal perspective that we have to overcome. Lately, we've also seen an increase in publications and experts in the field that encourage us to think about the ecological impact. And I hope that we also have a huge contribution towards this effort. And then, of course, cultural and socioeconomic barriers are always extremely important, and we all experience them on a daily basis. So what are some of the key drivers of equal opportunity? Digital identity, banking, payments, privacy, contracts, employment, education. Again, we can list many more, but these are the ones that, again, are mentioned by most sources, regardless of the country, regardless of the type of source, they always come very high in the rankings. And then what are a few directions that I wanted to share, and these are personal opinions, but I think it's important to reflect on some of the opportunities we have over the next decade or so. I do believe that building a human-centric blockchain ecosystem via design thinking is crucial. Similarly, how we have in healthcare and life sciences, where we maybe have an opportunity to learn from past mistakes when we deploy technologies. For blockchain, we have a one-time opportunity now to change this paradigm and design everything with a human-centric perspective in mind. Also, human rights by design is something that also has been mentioned quite often in the context of blockchain solutions. And again, the benefits mentioned are non-discrimination, access to remedy, enhanced privacy, and there are several publications that even list blockchain as the sixth dimension in human rights. Of course, as you know, I care deeply about United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and it is my true personal and professional belief that blockchain can have huge contributions on all 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So I have dedicated quite a lot of time towards this effort, and I think we're making strides. There is still a lot of work to be done, but I think if we manage to convince all stakeholders globally, there can be a lot of good that comes out of that. And then last but not least, again, one area that's near and dear to my heart, I do believe blockchain is a foundational technology for the development of smart cities. We've talked about smart cities for several years, but it seems at least over the last few 15, 18 months, there's a revival, a renaissance of an interest from not only governments, but also private industry to deploy multiple emerging technologies for smart cities, not just blockchain. As some of you know, we've also relaunched and revived our working group that focuses on deploying a blockchain for smart cities. And once again, it is listed usually as one of the top opportunities for the next decade or even longer in offering equal opportunity to citizens. So smart citizens, smart governance always is mentioned in the context of what blockchain can afford. In the blockchain solutions realm, I would like to highlight that digital identity, in my professional opinion, is one of the crucial elements that can really impact multiple SDGs and smart contracts as well. So SDGs, smart cities, I feel have a very close correlation. And again, blockchain can help quite a lot with both of them. Neo-banking and digital twins are also up and coming. So as most of you know, the opportunities we have when we deploy blockchain, AI, IoT, and other emerging technologies in conjunction, we can really change the paradigm in how cities are being developed and what we can offer to citizens. And specifically, as our topic is today, provide equal opportunities and have less discrimination or no discrimination, hopefully, for all the elements that are near and dear to our heart. So I just wanted to now take a moment and switch topics. As some of you know, we have increased our efforts over the last few months in our working groups. And specifically, in addition to the Smart Cities working group that I just referenced a few minutes ago, we also launched the Investors and Startups working group. So I wanted to highlight a few of the opportunities that we aim to offer over the next few months and years, and increase those opportunities as well for all of you. So through our working groups and through the GBA labs, which will share a little bit more thoughts over the next few weeks as well, we want to offer several pathways for funding, and they fall into 4 large domains. We will work with our members to identify relevant grants that are not only helpful to you in your solutions that you've crafted, but also, of course, to GBA and are aligned with our enterprise strategy. We also will work with those of you that are ready to seek angel investments or venture capital. And for those of you who are interested, because lately we've been getting a lot of questions, also if you're interested in understanding what role crowdfunding platforms can have for you, we'll also guide you for that. I just would like to highlight that when we meet, usually we identify first what is the optimal opportunity for you and what stage your idea is. Are you in pre-seed stage? Are you in ready to go in front of investors for an early market or market kind of stage, or are you ready for the global stage? And I'll share a little bit more later. It's really important to understand that not everybody is always ready to be in front of investors. Our goal is to make sure that we identify opportunities and help you be prepared so that you can succeed. So when we talk about the angel investing opportunities, when we meet with you during our working groups, we will identify if there are opportunities, and if your solutions are ready, we will coach you throughout the year to make sure that you have the right pitch deck and understand exactly what each type of investor is asking for, and to also be prepared for each type of industry or market. We can offer access to angel investor groups nationally or internationally, depending on the scope of your solution. And then again, depending on the type of solution and the industry and the readiness that your solution is providing, we can assist you in participating in the global fundraising stage. We will have several demo days. As you know, we just had one this morning. Each type of demo day will be very different. So some of them are focused on a specific thematic purpose, just as today when we had social impact, but others will be focused maybe on healthcare or real estate or finance or trade. So depending on the participants, we can then appropriately guide you to the right type of angel investment. We also have access to several regional angel networks in the United States. So depending again on what you prefer and what solutions you offer, we will make that determination together with you. In terms of access, again, the GBA Startups and Investor Working Group is one. We usually meet once a month. You're welcome to attend, and then depending on your needs, we schedule follow-up meetings during the following 3 weeks in between the monthly meetings. I also shared the link so that all of you can have it available. The next meeting is July 5th, right after the holiday. And again, I just wanted to highlight that in addition to offering access to funding, we also guide all of you if you have questions regarding patents, licensing, and any other copyright or trademark questions, which are always relevant in the future investment meetings that you'll have either with angel investors or with venture capital. We've not mentioned that much venture capital, but that is also part of our effort. We're starting with angel investments, but if there is a need to accelerate or to expand that opportunity to venture capital firms, we can. And as you know, we have several of our working group members who are also providing that kind of contact. And I think that concludes my presentation. I just wanted to make sure I offer enough time for questions and answers. Usually we get quite a lot of questions on this topic. I'll stop sharing my screen so that we can access the chat room. Thank you, Robert, for the opportunity to present.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for doing that.
Hey, before we jump into questions, I just want to throw my 2 cents in. We don't always do everything exactly right, but when that happens, we do try to correct things. We didn't really properly give Ingrid the introduction she deserves, so I just want the folks to on the phone to know, or on the call to know. Ingrid is an incredibly accomplished. She's a medical doctor. She has had leadership positions in academia and in business. She's got credentials. She's on the global stage for investors. She's a key player in the World Business Angel Investment Forum. She's a senator there. She leads the U.S. office of the World Business Angel Investment Forum. She actually founded it here in the United States, and has an incredible personal story that I, again, just like Dr. Robert Brown, I just wish we had the time to share with you. But the person that you're hearing from and getting advice from is very well qualified to speak on this subject, and an incredible resource that GBA is just very blessed to have available to members. So Ingrid, I just wanted you to know how much we appreciate you and how valuable you are to our community.
Thank you. That's very kind. And it's, as you know, I share the same feelings towards our GBA mission and vision and all the wonderful colleagues we have. I think we have an amazing team and so much human capital that can propel our mission even further. So I think we can accomplish great things together. So let's see if there are any questions. If not, Robert, you can probably move along to the next item on the agenda.
All right. Yeah, at this time, if anyone is in the auditorium and wants to participate, I'm resharing the link. And we do have a couple minutes, about 10 minutes for questions. If you would like to raise your hand or speak up, we can accommodate you.
If we don't, I can just use the time until people share their questions to answer some of the most frequent ones I get through LinkedIn or through my email. So the most frequent ones are if we accept all stages, and it's yes, but we have to stage it. So during the monthly meetings, we just want to make sure that we know about it, and then we schedule one-to-ones with you depending on your needs. The second thing is, it's not an instant connection. We usually want to make sure that you're ready, so that if we do connect you with investors of any type, you are ready and successful. So it's not like you just email us and we immediately connect you with an investment group, because we want to make sure that you're really prepared and that your solution is ready for that type of meeting. For GBA members, we can offer up to 4 coaching sessions annually. So that's a great resource, because otherwise, as you know, that's something that is very difficult to obtain usually. So we do offer it for all GBA members, and we make sure that we time it well, so that if you are ready and willing to go to the global stage when the applications are open end of September, you are well on your way and prepared to do that. Those are the most frequent questions we're getting. But if there are any others, I'm happy to answer them. You can email me or connect with me via LinkedIn, and then we'll schedule whatever is appropriate for your solution. Thank you.
Ingrid, there's a question in the chat, and then I've got a question after that.
Sure. I don't see a question in the chat.
The one I see currently is from Luis, and he is, or he or she is looking to connect after and speak to you, Ingrid.
Yeah, that I see, but it wasn't a question. It was just a statement. So sorry.
Yes, it's just a statement.
Yeah.
So Gerard, if you have something, go ahead.
Yeah. So when you're reaching out to investors, or when you're doing a pitch to investors, what are some of the key things that they're looking at before they make a decision on whether or not they'll give you investment funding?
There's several, but and we have very clear decks to guide the teams. But to highlight, of course, the value proposition is one of the key elements. Ability to scale is a second very high on top of the list. The third one is sustainability. There are many startups who make it for short term, but then when they reach the mezzanine level, they have a very hard time. So those are very important. Of course, the expertise in the team and the trust in the team are very important, but those are almost a given and an expectation. So we usually work with the teams to refine the value proposition, make the value proposition very clear for all types of stakeholders and customers that the solution addresses. It's really important how to stage your scaling into the market, to decide which industry you join first, where are you most equipped to compete in that environment. So I would say the fourth one is competitive advantage. We're getting flooded every week with new opportunities. So it's really important for investors to know why would they invest in your company and not in 100 others that they see per week. So again, to recap, value proposition, ability to scale, and ability to sustain what your offerings are. And then quality of the team, as well as strategic partnerships and competitive advantage, just to list a few.
And when we were having dinner in Florida with you and Kath and Robert and your John, you said that there were some things that really surprised you when you started kind of getting in the investment world. You said that there are some things that really surprised you. Can you kind of share what some of those things were? Because it might not be intuitive to people who are listening to you today.
Sure, I think we all, when we create a new solution, we're getting very attached to them and tend to go very much into the details, but it's really essential to understand the perspective of those who want to invest. They don't see only your solution, right? They see many others. So being very empathic and being able to understand all the perspectives will help you. So not getting too attached to your solution and going too much into details during presentations, but making sure that you highlight the value proposition for those who want to invest in you, not just to the, let's say, teams that are very much into the weeds is crucial. And the reason why I say that is because we see it all the time. Everybody thinks their product is the best, their company is the best, and it's essential to convey in the deck to investors how they can also gain value out of that, and then also how you can have broad scale impact. So what surprised me is I come from academia, and sometimes what I thought was the most thorough solution and most in-depth solution was not always the one that was most feasible to scale and to sustain. And that obviously, we haven't mentioned it yet, but the ROI is crucial. Being able to offer an ROI that's, of course, as early as possible, but also sustainable is very important, not just if it's a good solution. So I know that's sometimes tough to tolerate for a lot of teams, but it's essential to understand that upfront.
And then you also said something that's kind of along these lines, and I'll wrap it up quick, Rob. That you're surprised, like how in a couple of slides, like these investors, they want to get to the bottom line very, very quickly, right? It kind of is in line with don't go into too much detail, but it seemed kind of bizarre to me that people would be willing to spend millions of dollars on such a quick presentation. It would seem to me that you'd have to give them lots and lots of information and due diligence before they would make a decision like that. So I don't know, any thoughts or comments on that?
Well, I think I tend to think about it in a positive way. They do see quite a lot of solutions. They know that we are the experts in the field when we present something, right? A technological solution. They're not technology experts, and they're not subject matter experts either. What they want to know is, out of 100 other solutions that are technologically savvy and that are addressing a pain point in the industry, how is yours standing out compared to the others, and how is yours gonna yield sustainable ROI? Because that's the point where you're going to ask for money. You're not going for a competition to say which one is the most beautiful theoretical solution. You're going to ask people for money to invest in your solution to make them returns and to be a successful long-term solution for whatever industry you're after. So that's the difference. If you would apply for a competition to just say, what's the most beautiful theoretical solution, the winners might be very different. But when you look at what is an opportunity globally, or when you look at what's an opportunity for investors to get their ROI, it's a little bit different. So the lens is different. And I see we have two other questions.
Yeah, Mayapan, I saw you ask something in the auditorium chat. Why don't
Yes,
you go ahead and ask this?
Yes, good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, Dr. Ingrid. In fact, Robert, just a small feedback that I have posted plenty of questions, but most of the questions were missed out in the
Okay.
auditorium. Okay, fine. So, Doctor, I'm just going to ask one point where you've already given some information. Is the opportunity only for blockchain application developments, or is it for any other type of industry also, which is related to blockchain?
Well, yes, here we're talking about blockchain, but you can have other technologies in combination with blockchain, but there has to be blockchain in the solution. You can have as many additional technologies as well, but there has to be blockchain. Yeah.
So the application should be provable in a state that it has something related to the blockchain.
Correct. Yes, for our purpose today. Now, if you're interested in anything else, you can reach out to me through the World Business Forum, which is different than GBA, and I'll be happy to guide you for that as well.
Fine.
But
So,
for our purpose today, it has to be blockchain. Yes.
Okay. And is it only for blockchain application, or is it for any other type of any service which is related to blockchain?
Correct.
That's okay. Okay, that's what my question is.
Yes.
Thank you, Doctor.
I saw one more hand raised, Robert.
Yeah, I think Sari was had his hand up earlier.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Ingrid. I had the pleasure also to work with Dr. Ingrid in the Smart Cities Working Group, and really, as you said, we are honored to have someone like you with us in the GBA. My question here about the funding and the startup group, Dr. Ingrid, is it like if you choose one of that startups, is it going to be a VC, venture capital, or angel investors? How it will go for the startup himself? Because we know, like, we have like so many guys just they just fed up from too many of these VCs and their rules, and some of them just they call like it's not fair for the startup to go with the VC or with the angel investors. So what's your call on that? Thank you again.
Sure. Well, that's one of the main reasons why we recommend first doing a feasibility analysis of what your solution is actually a good match for. Traditionally, so far, what we've had in GBA, it seems most of them fit angel investment first, but we're doing a thorough analysis. We do not have any biased opinion up front. And then we guide you and we discuss the pros and cons. That's one of the main goals that we have when we meet with you, to guide you appropriately. Some solutions are more appropriate for venture capital, but then we guide you about how you need to approach that and what the negatives versus some of the advantages are. So we don't have a biased decision on that, but we'll just guide you and then you ultimately can make your decision. The same thing with crowdfunding. That's another one that most people struggle with as well. Should they go for crowdfunding or not? And it's not universal. For some companies, it can be a perfect fit. For others, it's not a fit at all.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Doctor.
Yes, and thank you again, Ingrid.